Mr. J Black.
Hex, okay, we coming, you ready or not for the #1 spot? So tell me we not. Had a little run, in a bull run. Yeah, it was fun, but now it done stopped. Bitcoin done, Ethereum done. They got a new coin, it's ready to drop. You got an airdrop, get rid of your files. So get you some posts, they gon' give you a lot. Keep a few coins, they give you a copy. We cleaning up, baby, I need me a mop. They know that we up, we winning a lot. The number go up, but where's the top? Up where I'm at, you hear me or not? A year and a half, we been on the top. The haters, they mad, they wanted to stop. They say it's a scam, let me figure it out. None they go win a stake in, go pull it out, it's a bigger amount. I do not see what the fuss is about. I think they doing that shit for the clout. It was a problem, somebody would shout. Instead, everybody be shouting them out.
Hello and welcome back to KSB TV YouTube channel. Look, I just got to go right in and break the ice. Listening to my husband's song, the intro, I just realized that he's going to have to rewrite all of his music. Like, we don't have one song that doesn't say staking.
Yeah. It's been a big word for us for a long time.
So how are you guys doing? Let's just go around the room and say, hey, how you been since the last time I seen you?
Hi, guys. How's it going? So good to see y'all. So many things that Richard has updated us on that we have to talk about. So I'm so excited to actually get to that and see you all as well. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. SJ.
Yeah, things are going good. I was here last week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So good to be back again. Happy to be here. Always awesome talking to the ladies in our ecosystem. So happy to be back.
Absolutely. Hexicans girl, first time on the show. Welcome. Nice to meet you on stream.
First time on stream ever, probably.
Really? Congratulations.
That's amazing. Congrats.
That's a big step for people. You know, you spend a lot of time getting to know people in the community on Twitter, and you want to put yourself out there, but it's a major step to do it, to actually do it. So thank you for joining us today. Cece, hey girlie, how you doing?
Hi, sorry I was late. How are you ladies doing?
It is all right. There's always technical things that come up and everything that delay us. So good to see you. Glad you made it. Yeah. So yeah, I was just bringing up the fact that, you know, Richard has been active lately, tweeting. He mentioned maybe it's for legal reasons, for whatever reason, he's advised that we change the narrative of staking to something else. And he brought up a bunch of different ideas of what that could possibly be. But it seems like the community is kind of leaning, or he's maybe leaning towards mining. I've kind of mentioned that I like the term minting. So, you know, what do you guys think? If anybody feels real, you know, opinionated about it.
Well, I think obviously he knows what he's doing, and he has to let us know. And what he's trying to emphasize is that in our product Hex, we do not expect anything from anybody else. We actually mint or mine our own coins. You are the only one responsible. So I think this is what he's trying to put an emphasis on. And especially since we've seen what happened with the term staking, it's been thrown a lot around lately. So I like it. I think mining works. Or I like that most people understand what mining is. They know that you have to get it, like only you have the keys to do so. So I think it's a good narrative.
Sure. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm a little like, what's the word? I'm on the fence about it, right? I think it's sad that we're losing the staking term, right? Especially considering everything that like staker app and the staker classes and stake by 5. I mean, people have got this. I'm sure there's people that have staker on tattoos on their bodies, you know, things like that. I understand why he's doing it, right? That makes sense. But I was talking to you a little bit earlier in the green room about this. I think mining isn't the right. I feel like mining isn't the right term for, especially for people that are outside looking in and people that don't understand crypto that well, because mining, as far as, you know, my understanding of, especially of people that don't, you know, aren't into the ecosystem like this, they're going to think mining and they're going to think Bitcoin mining, like they're destroying the environment mining, you know, so that's already hard for people to understand that Hex is a crypto that doesn't do that, right? So I loved the staking and all that, but now I feel like it's a step backwards. I feel like using mining is going backwards, and I don't think that that's the right word. I like you were saying, BLAKC kind of minting. I think I also liked Richard had used the word rewards. I think both minting and rewards, I think those are both good, because I think what we want to strive to do and what is going to bring more people in is gamifying, right? The game theory of everything. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, SJ, I'm with you 100%. And I think that, you know, we just don't want to overcomplicate it. If we use too many words, if we're going back and forth between staking, mining, minting, then, you know, it could get a little lost in translation. So if we do just settle on one, for me, I like hex minting. I like the idea of, hey, you can buy hex or you can buy T shares for the ability to, you know, mint more rewards, right, in the form of more hex. So that's kind of how I think I'll start explaining it, just to kind of reduce the number of words that I'm using. Because, you know, at the end of the day, it is a pretty simple concept. But I think that we just get so caught in everyone's different narratives of how to explain it that sometimes we overcomplicate it.
For me personally, so sorry to interrupt, CZ. I just wanted to give it a quick example, because when I explain hex, I tend to compare it. My narrative is that I compare it to the Bitcoin. So to me, to be honest, it's an easier term to say that, you know, it's mining. It's like Bitcoin, but now it's proof of stake, better technology. We don't waste the environment. You don't waste a lot of energy. So that actually gives you a little time to explain what proof of stake is as well. So this is why I'm, when I heard this, obviously it's going to be hard to get back to that term, you know, like sometimes you're going to catch yourself saying staking still. But as far as for my own boards personally, I think it's way easier to compare it with mining. And it's just a game of words at the end of the day.
Yeah, especially if you're doing the comparison to Bitcoin. What were you thinking, CZ?
I'm on board with what Jori's saying. I was in a really amazing space this morning, a hex space. I think it was, oh gosh, it was equal block, something block. It was hex block, hex. I don't know. He got like suspended and he came back. But anyway, he had some good points. It's just a word for, you know, it's just a word, right? Stakes just a word. Now, there's a lot of things that staking is involved with when it comes to hex, but even the definition of like minting and mining isn't really even still really the definition of what we're really doing. But if we're going to use anything, like Jori had said, it's so similar with Bitcoin that the mining would be the more appropriate word to go with. It just makes a little bit more sense. But according to them, it's probably not going to stay that way. It's probably going to be changed again, because Richard Hart right now, it's just basically, you know, needing to get that staker done out, stake is out, and then put a word in right now. But I do believe it's going to change. I don't think it's going to stay mining, but if it does, I hope it does stay mining other than any other word.
Yeah. And David brings up a very interesting question by saying, you know, if we're going into this terminology of mining, does that now mean that our T shares are miners, right? Are they comparable to like the ASIC miner? Which to me is a little interesting because, you know, in my mind, T share is still just a thought. You don't actually hold anything, right? With ASIC, you are holding a token that mines. The T share is more of a calculation of a theoretical idea that determines how many more hex you'll receive. So for me, this is a reach. I don't know.
Good question.
Yeah. So yeah, that was that. That's not even our topic of the day. I definitely want to get into our topic of today, but you already know when things go crazy on Twitter and social media and it's all surrounding one theme, you can't help but to just address it and get it out there. So to steer us into what our actual topic is for today, It's really about crypto meetups in real life, right? I know that all of us here on screen has at least attended a meetup. Some of us have even planned and hosted meetups, more than just myself. But I want to get into, what drew you to go to your first meetup? Like, what was the call? Like, why did you even go? Right? Because at the end of the day, it was probably internet people you were going to meet. So I just want to find out from you, because I know that everyone has been to one, but I just want to know, what was that initial, interaction like? So let's start with JORI.
Me again. Okay. Well, for me, it was a little different, right? Like, it was obviously my very first ever one attending was for December 31st, if I'm not mistaken, for KSB Lion's birthday. So
Yep.
prior to that, I had met them, and that's when everything started. And I just thought they were so freaking cool. And I'm always going after people who are cool and are on the same vibe as me. So that was my first very ever meetup, and it was so amazing. I got to see so many Hex OGs all in one place. Motley, Super Hex Win, Crypto Coffee, I believe, was there as well. I mean, so many Hexicans, and I got to have a talk with all of them, and it was just, I felt at home right away. As weird as that sounds, because as you said, some of us, we really have never met. They're just our internet friends, but it don't matter. You just truly like and respect them, and you love them so much. And that's exactly what's happening with me. And for example, our friend Somi, I mean, he's amazing. I've never seen him. I've never met him, but just knowing that these are our friends, this community is so great. So this was for me what made it right away. I was like, yep, I am sold. They are so cool. I really want to be their friend.
Absolutely. What about you, SJ?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I went by myself, because the first meetup I ever attended was the KSB tour that went through the States, and y'all came to Austin. And that was the first time I had ever met any other Hexicans, aside from, I think I either went with Chris Side Effects, or he showed up there at some point. No, I went by myself. Yeah, because I was just so into, I think at that point I had started reading Sci-Vive. I don't think I had even started recording it yet. I just knew about it. I knew about Richard. I had already invested a little bit, and I was just so drawn to find out, who are these people that I've seen behind these screens for such a long time, and, what is it like meeting other, and I really wanted to know also who in my area was interested in this. I was, I was like, well, am I going to run into anybody that I know from other places here? And I did. That was one of the coolest things, is just, I ran into at least one other person who happened to come to Hex in a totally different way, but we were both at the Austin meetup. So that was it. It was just, I'm such a social person anyways. For me, it always makes sense to go. If I can go meet up with someone and like hang out and do a thing, I'm going to go do it. So that's how it went for me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about you, Hexican girl?
So my first meetup was actually the 2-year anniversary in London. Got to meet London. Richard and
Your sound is cutting out just a little. I don't know if there's anything we can do. Let's go to CZ, and then we'll come right back to you and see if your signal strengthens just a little.
I love meetups. I do. I mean, like, honestly, for me, my first meetup was at my house. And, said the story before, KSB raided my home and then brought all these Hexicans, and I got to meet everybody, and it was weird, but it was kind of the opposite effect. So I hadn't even really gotten into Hex myself yet. My husband was already in it. But it was cool. It was different. And it gave me something to look forward to and learning going forward. I think it was a month or two after is when we did the Hex conference in Vegas the first time. So I kind of like already felt like I knew some people, but the cool thing is I started getting into spaces even before that first conference. So now I wanted to meet some of these PFPs that I was like, you know, talking to in these rooms, and I had no idea who they were. So it just means a lot. There's a lot of good relationships there. I still like talk to these people a lot that I have met up with. And I've had a couple meetups at my house, and I'm having another one coming up in a couple of months for Texas, and I don't want to get too far into that one, but I will give more notice. RG3 is doing his pirate tour, and so we got together, and he's probably more than likely after the cruise and all that stuff and setting a date. We'll have a little meetup and stuff at the CZ Lounge and somewhere probably for some training. So yeah, so meetups are important. If you haven't gone to one, I suggest you do. I just love all my community family. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of RG3, I know that he is in Slidell, right outside of New Orleans today, doing a meetup, doing a little educational meetup. So I definitely got to hear about. I think you're probably the only person here that has met Richard Hart in person. So I'm wondering how that meetup went.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. So many people just swarming him at the event. And yeah, we all had a little line up at the beginning, and we all took a picture with him and got to say hello. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's my microwave.
So it's doing something.
It sounds like you're in that rocket that's behind you on your wall.
I wonder if David is around, because normally he's got like the good tech support. Like he's great at fixing things. JORI, is David around? Does he have any suggestions for us?
He will probably say to just plug and unplug your connection.
Turn it on and on.
That's your advice.
Because right now, I don't know where David is.
Thanks, David. That's great.
How about now?
Okay,
it's better.
Yeah,
wait, say
I'll just take my headphone out. Maybe that's better.
Oh, yeah.
Boom. There we go. Okay, so let's hear it. The Richard Hart meetup.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. We all went out partying, met lots of Hexicans, like RG3, met RG3. Yeah, it was the film crew were there as well. We were all filming.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Pretty good night.
That's what I've always wondered. How did that go about? Like, was it like you bought a ticket, you got invited? How did that event go?
Yeah, so I think it was a documentary team. They sent out like a link, and you bought a ticket. I think it was by PayPal or something. Not crypto, unfortunately, but yeah. You bought a ticket, and I think it was only 600 tickets, something like that. Yeah, and there was like VIP tickets as well. 55 VIP tickets, I think.
Wow. Were there about 500, 600 people there?
I think there was about 300 or 400.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah. It was a good turnout. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge meetup. I mean, I know a ton of people that came all the way from the States to go over there. So I know it was a huge meetup. So I guess my follow-up question for all you guys, and since Hexagon Girl, you were the last one to kind of talk about it, how did going to that first meetup like change you as far as you wanting to do more within the community? Because I know I talk about it often. If you've ever seen me stream, I say it all the time that I would not be creating content, working on events had I not gone to my first meetup, right? Did you guys kind of have that same kind of impact, or what was it that got you so involved?
I go first. Yeah, no, it's just meeting like everyone. It's really fun to meet people who are interested in the same thing, and yeah, that keeps me going. Met a lot of great people.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, CZ? Because you've, like you said, done it at your own house, and to open up your house to people you don't know, is not easy for most people, right? So what is it about this community that made you want to commit this much of your time and money and whatever?
I think a lot of it is that I know that I'm in a really good community that mainly 95% of the time stays positive. And because of that positivity of where we are and what we have to look forward to, keeps me really going, and it really makes me want to do more in the community as well. Like, I want to be in the mix. I want to be able to celebrate this with everybody, because everybody else's excitement is exactly like my excitement. So I know we're feeling the same thing, and that's where the rush is. So it's just like, I don't know, it's like electricity or something. And yeah, I just know that we're definitely in the right place I can't wait for Pulse Chain to see what happens with everybody. I really, really hope that everybody that even kind of backed off a little bit comes back and is part of that excitement as well. But yeah, you guys are what keeps me going, for sure.
Yeah. What about you, JORI? Did the meetups have impact on your decision to start creating content and whatnot?
For sure. I mean, as Hexican girl mentioned, and also SJ, you know, we humans we like to feel included, right? Inclusive. And if we find people who like what we like, or as I like to say, we find people who are in the same frequency as us, then we tend to, you know, want to give more and, you know, learn more as well. So one of the main reasons for me was truly perfect. Like, it was the perfect timing. Was debating that I should start and, you know, just expressing myself and just have a channel and even get better at communicating, you know, learn how everything else works and just grow, basically. So crypto just kind of came right into my lap. And obviously being with Abit, that's hard to stay away from not wanting to do something, because that guy is constantly doing something, you know, related to Hex. So I was pushed, but as I said, I was in the right timing. The reason why I wanted to start for myself to do something was because in order for me to learn, I must do it and teach it. And that's exactly what was my biggest push, to just want to learn better, because every time I went in a meetup, these people are so smart. And I was like, okay, I really have some growing up to do, you know, either learn how to communicate better, learn how to be financially free, like just follow what is success. And we hear it so much, but we don't have a good guide of how to do it, you know? So that's what did it for me, just wanting to learn and teach it, and a method of wanting to be included.
Yeah. What about you, SJ?
Yeah, so it was my second meetup, which was Vegas, the Hex meetup in Vegas, and I had already started doing Sci-Vive, recording the audiobook, but I don't think at that point in time I had any like thoughts or wishes to do streaming or anything like that. But what ended up happening is when I went up to ask Richard a question and I mentioned that I was doing the audiobook, because at that point in time, I barely knew who Richard was. I knew some of the community members more because I had seen them streaming and seen their content, and you know, that's who Crypto Kool-Aid, when I was getting into all this, he told me several different people to look into and to watch. So when I went up there and I said, I'm doing this audiobook, and I got a nearly standing ovation, like people stood up and clapped because I was doing it. And it like rocked my world. Like I had no idea that it would be received the way it was, or that people wanted it so much, or that it was such a big deal. I was actually just on Ben DeBard's show this morning, and you know, a lot of people see me with the clips and all these little things, but he didn't know that for the last 2 years, like for the last year and a half, basically, I've been working on narrating and editing and then re-narrating the book. So I don't know that I would have gone this far into it if it weren't for the community and the way that people have received it and been so thankful for it, and thanked me just for, you know, having this voice. I'm just like, sweet. Like if all I could ever do is sci-fi for the rest of my life, I'd be super happy doing that. So Richard, you know, you want to pay a hot girl to do some things, you just let me know. I'm ready and waiting, buddy.
Yeah, I had the same, you know, kind of feeling. It was how the community received what we were doing. at the same HEX conference. My skill is different. My skill is organization. I can deal with all different types of personality types, a little controlling because I like to get stuff done, right? I never wanted to do this part, this streaming, this public speaking. That's not really my forte. But there was very few women talking about HEX at the first conference, right? Even though I knew that there were a lot more women in the background, there wasn't like a women's panel. There wasn't like a real, platform just for women to be able to speak. And so the fact that Maddie gave me the opportunity to speak, I wasn't going to shy away from that. I was going to go ahead out there, tell my story, and just, let it be. And what happened after that really just changed, my whole perception, my whole ideology of what was happening in the space. And it was because a lady came up to me in the elevator and she almost cried. I mean, we both got like pretty emotional, and I'm getting like a little emotional just talking about it. But the words that she said to me was that I felt so alone. Like I felt like, I wasn't understanding. I wasn't picking it up. And my husband was so excited about this crypto and I just wasn't getting it, And then when you went up and spoke and you talked about how you were laddering for your kids' birthdays, it meant something. It clicked for me, right? That this is about long-term planning and investing and that. And she was just like, so I just really appreciate, she was like, I know you got a little, emotional up there talking, but just keep doing it. And then for me, that was it. That was what told me that even if I'm uncomfortable, even if it's weird for me, this is something that we have to keep doing because we're supporting each other. So, that's my little take on why, I've continued to do what I'm doing. But I think that the space is changing a bit, and that it's not just about HEX anymore. Of course, we all, especially on this screen, love HEX, right? But we're also extremely excited and supportive of Pulse Chain and what that will bring. So my question to you guys is, how do you think our community of Hexicans will change once Pulse Chain launches? And if anybody, I know that that's a new question. So if anybody wants to go first, then you can go first, and then we'll just kind of go around from there.
I'll go. I think there's going to be so many different projects that some people don't even like that are Hexican community that is going to be on Pulse Chain, right? So I think it's going to open the minds up more to some of the Hex community where maybe they're like, whoa, okay, well, they're doing good on our chain and it's benefiting me. So let's just open our minds and be, more open to what's coming our way. I think it's going to just be a big crypto, party. Like, I mean, it's going to be good. There's no negative that's going to come out of it. I think everybody's just going to change their outlook on certain things. I think that's just my opinion on that. And, there's a lot of things like that will be on Pulse Chain. And
I think it's going to be fantastic. I think, yeah, as we saw it, or even on Pulse Chain, like the official Twitter, we saw that we just hit 100,000 followers, and a lot of people are ready for this. A lot of movement. I mean, as we saw, Richard Hart changing, his narrative from outrage marketing to now, he wants to be more of inclusive, as I like to say. Today, I saw that he's posting pictures about his childhood. I love it. I think it's gonna get so much attention. It's already getting so much attention. Yeah. We will also, as Hexicans, especially the Maxis, will learn how to be more inclusive and how to just adapt a little bit, and go with the water. But other than that, I think I cannot wait. I mean, we will have 4 products in 2 different chains. The community is growing. Even in the cruise, over 100 Hexicans are meeting to just be together. So I think I cannot wait. Genuinely, my life depends on it now. Everything I do, like all of my plans, are kind of evolving that, even though it's not even out. And I'm so excited.
It's been like that for a long time. SJ, what about you?
Oh, I'm about it, to be honest. I started doing this because I heard other streamers say things like, if you're passionate about something, you should come be a streamer, come do content creation. And I know a lot of people kind of have it in their head like, oh, well, there's already, 5 people that do TA and, 100 people that do price prediction and like all these different things, right? But every single one of us has our own unique outlook and personality and background. And someone that's going to listen to me sexy whisper sci-vive, might not listen to CZ's crazy late night, stream and vice versa, right? Like, even though we're both that's both edgy things, but I'm just saying, like, we all have something to bring to the table. And if you're out there and you're kind of on the edge and you're like, oh, I don't know if I could do this, do it. Just do it. Just jump in and do it, because there can never be enough of us out here promoting what we love and what we have found and what we want to share with the world. There can never be enough. So I think it's going to go parabolic. I think it'll be crazy, because there will likely be streamers who are doing pulse chain content that don't even know what Hex is. I think we're going to get to that point that people are going to be doing pulse chain stuff and not even
That's already happening. That's
Right.
already happening. I mean, like, I'm in other rooms and I will not mention, but they're like, what's Hex? What Hex?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, hi.
Yes, I say bring it. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah. Do you want to share anything, Hexican girl?
I agree with all of you. I think that they're going to bring more eyes. It's going to bring more eyes to Hex as well, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
And I
exciting.
think that we already have a perfect example of what the change will look like in the Postmasters, right? This was a preemptive event before Pulse Chain even launched, but the whole idea was to bring multiple groups that are all contributing into Pulse Chain. And at that point, that was our largest event to date, where normally we'll bring, 50 to 100 people to an event, where this had over 200 people at the event. So I think that just the idea of bringing these multiple communities together, it just promotes adoption on a bigger level, right? Like, let's say we're doing the Hex cruise right now, and we have 103 people. But if it was a Pulse Chain cruise, and now you have the Mentor team, the Power City team, the Liquid Loans team, this team, that team, and whoever else. I mean, how many people do you think are going to be there? And at the end of that cruise, if we have 1,000 crypto enthusiasts on a boat that has 5,000 people, what's going to happen to the other 4,000 people on that boat? I think we're going to find a few more crypto enthusiasts.
One of us.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you will already be mining Hex anyway. So until your stakes or until your mining is due, then you have time to find yourself, find your friends, find your circle, find who you want to hanging out with. And that's exactly what we do. I think we're just getting better every single day, not only financially, but also personally. I mean, over here, just like anybody's, the biggest fear is public speaking. And the same with me, and I'm sure with some of you as well. But yet we're here challenging ourselves to get better, because that's truly how you grow. And this is why I see this as a win-win. It was just at the perfect timing to truly help the cause of bringing adoption of crypto. Obviously, we would like you to come in our community, but most importantly, the adoption of crypto. It could truly change the world if we understand the first principles of crypto. So we're all about it. And I think Pulse Chain will find out who the Hexicans truly are, like how we really do it, because we're great. Everybody is working for the same goal, and the momentum is there. Everything, it's going so great. I love to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
And
So
it's 7 cents hex. So it's I don't know, man. I thought it might go down somewhere, but what do y'all think about that? I mean, we don't have to go into too much of it. But I'm like still like shocked that I'm like, well, next week it's gonna go down. And then it's like up a little bit more. So I'm like, whoa, okay, what are we doing, people? So I mean, what do y'all think on that?
yeah, we can definitely pull up the price chart in just a minute and look at where Hex is, and then maybe do a little bit of speculating. Before we do that, let's wrap up this topic of events. And my final question on the matter is, what kind of events and meetups would you guys like to see in the future? If you have any suggestions or ideas or thoughts behind that.
Me.
Yes, SJ.
This is something that's been in my mind for such a long time, and I would love to see this happen. And I was going to talk to Maddie Allen about it, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to the meetup in Florida.
Miami.
Yeah. But I would love to see us, and I know Yori's going to agree with this, doing more holistic, like things where we talk more about, like, because I know this is right. Some of us have not gone through that cycle yet, right? Like I had my first green candle moment like a week ago when I woke up in the morning and I saw that and we had hit like 6 something cents and I was just like, oh, I get it. I understand it. Like I know what the green candles are, but it was the first time I had the feeling of green candle pump. And I was just like, oh my God, this is actually happening now. So for someone like myself who came in as we were kind of going up and down and had just started and didn't really understand and didn't get to, I don't understand sudden wealth syndrome, but I'm about to, like that's going to happen. And I think that we really need to, even though for a year now, like I've been talking about things like that. And I've watched Maddie Allen and Ballet Brand and a lot of other streamers who have had that kind of content. I think we need to be really cognizant at our meetups of having spaces for our emotional and mental well-being. I think that we need to be able to hold space to say, this is great and awesome and it's fun to be with everybody, but we also want to make sure that we're checking in with one another, that we're really doing okay, so that while we're going into this crazy parabolic moon math, hex journey and pulse chain journey, we can stay grounded. I just looked over and I saw Moondog saying something about being grounded, like I think that's, because it's great drinking and partying and all that shit. Like we're all going to do that anyways, right? Whether it's on our own or together. But if we can make it a point to do something mindful when we come together, I think that is really going to be a very beautiful thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that idea. SJ already said it. I mean, y'all know I'm in Mexico. You guys can just try to do a meetup and everybody comes here and we kind of do a setting like that. I strongly believe that it's very important. And even if it wasn't for our crypto journey and for our hex, it's important as humans and as community to help one another and to check with one another how they're feeling emotionally and, physically, mentally, because this plays a huge role in being a part of a community. You are kind of have a shoulder to cry on, if that makes sense. And I understand girls are more open to talk about this than guys, but it is so needed for everybody to just be connected to nature. We can be at the beach, just chill and talk and get to know each other and maybe help one another go through some situations that they're going through. I don't know. I'm so down for this. I love that topic. Yeah. I don't know how many people we can pull though, I must say, SJ.
That's true. I think more would come than we'd expect.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, for sure. Any other ideas or suggestions?
I love that idea. I mean, that's just right up my alley. And actually in spaces, we do some of that stuff already. I'm always that chick that's in those spaces. I will, talk about sudden wealth syndrome because I have my own story, so I like to check on people as well. I'll be in their DMs. Hey, haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well, like, hey, and then they'll just, yeah, great. So something like this would be amazing. Maybe it'd be like a retreat of some sort of, not only getting to hang out with us, but relaxing and just us being there for them. I love that. I'm on board for sure.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, drum and bass, any electronic music events. I think music events are going to be big. I think that's going to be a really fun thing to do, is to have a lot of musicians who are, either into Hex or have heard about it, have some kind of like Hex festival or Pulse Chain Hex festival. Let's get our dance on. I'm about that so much.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that there is a big group of Hexicans. Shillet is one of the main ones. Am I out? I'm out.
No, you're okay. It
No, we
was
can
a
hear you.
little
You're good.
choppy, but I think you're okay.
It's probably because I was trying to prepare for a screen share. But yes, there is a whole group of Hexicans working to create a Hex festival. Like, we have such amazing talent, people that build stages and do lighting and do all kind of stuff. So I know that this is something that people in the community want. But the motivation to do those kind of things starts to go down in a bear market.
Oh, absolutely.
And we'll quickly see that as those green candles continue, then you're like, people start like, oh yeah, I do want to do that. So we'll see more and more come from there, I'm sure. Hexican spiritual yoga retreat. Yeah, absolutely.
sure.
Yeah, with some good
And some people listening who are new might think like, oh my gosh, what are these people even talking about? Like, let me get the money and then I know what we'll do with it. Like, we have that reprogramming, but don't forget, management of the money, it's more important than getting the money. And usually if you don't know what you're doing, and if you never had that much money in your life before, somehow you unfortunately will misuse it. And either that's just spending it too much, or just not setting up your ladder for your children, for your future children. So it's important that we talk about this, although some might not understand it, why we're having this conversation.
Well, how I explain it to people too is like, dude, you got to have your health before your wealth, because what happens if you deteriorate, you drop down, you can't even enjoy what you're doing, right? So always make sure that you're taking care of yourself physically and mentally, and be prepared of what's going to happen in the future. So yeah, for sure.
All right.
Oh, guys.
Can you guys all see that? So right now we're at about 7 cents. Let me look at 7.0.
So beautiful.
59.
That is beauty.
So we are on a little bit on a dip from what from where we've been. Do you guys see that as a buy opportunity, or what are you thinking that we could potentially be looking at sitting at 7 cents Hex?
I think it's always a buying opportunity at this point, like, I mean, come on, it's going to go back up. So like, come down now and get it. Cause honestly, looking at this, I don't even know. I mean, it might come down a little bit more, but it's always going to be a buying opportunity, I believe, at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as Cici said, it's always the opportunity. From this point, you must have your foot in the water. You must have some crypto. You must have some Hex in this case, because again, no financial advice. But if you are trying to get in a crypto and you're still waiting, well, what are you waiting for? We already had a 95% dip. Yes, you can have a little one and here and there, but DCAing, it's so important, especially for us long-term thinkers and investors. So it's totally the best opportunity to do it. It's right now.
Yeah. What is that Richard said? 10 cents is nothing on the way to 100. I want to say that's this saying. So you look at it from that perspective. And like you said, we have already had a 95% dip. So where is the real, what are you really waiting for? Come on in. The water's fine.
Yeah, I feel super fortunate that I did buy over a couple, like maybe 2 or 3 times over this last 6 months while we were just kind of sitting around that. And it's been the coolest thing to see the power of DCA. I see people talking about it in the chat here. It has already blown my mind, just seeing the difference between 2 cents and 7 cents and where my Staker app wallet is at. I'm like, oh my God, like just because I bought the bottom, I am already almost like, I think I'm at break even basically of what I've invested so far. And I'm just like, so we go up a little bit and things are going like this is happening. Like it feels great.
So
So
cool.
definitely DCA all the way. Such a brilliant, beautiful strategy.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys a little story about when we were on the tour. We were around, I want to say like 20 cents hex, right? And I'm with guys that have been in crypto way longer than me. This is really my first bear. Like we've made it up to the top 50 cents, and now it's coming down. And I'm hearing Avid say things like, "Oh, this is the bottom." And Patrick say, "Oh, this is the bottom," and so I had a decision to make on the tour. And I'm getting a little bit of compensation from the guys for what I'm doing or whatnot. And so they're hex holders. And so one time Patrick goes, "Hey, would you prefer to get your pay in hex?" Right? Like we had just seen this huge red candle, and I'm like, "Ooh, I don't know. Like I could probably, get away with the next month or whatever, not needing any new funds." So I decide, sure, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And no, that was nowhere close to the bottom. And like, so the entire like way down to the bottom, I'm telling my husband, I was like, "Do you know I worked for like free?" Very little, because of the fact that all of that, salary went into that hex buy. And then I had to remind myself the way that I fix that is by continuing to buy. So literally from that buy down to 2 cents, I kept buying like all the way. And now it's at a point to where my all-time high on my portfolio was when everybody's all-time high was, right? 50 something cents. But because of all my DCAs down, now my all-time high will be at like 9 cents.
Mhm.
That is crazy to me. Like that is completely crazy. And it's because of the idea of DCAing the entire way. So
Yeah, it's the best strategy, especially as a beginner. I mean, I'm trying to emphasize this with my Albanian community that DCAing, especially the ones who actually did do so, they are enjoying that X now. So it's
yeah,
nice to see.
for sure. So those are all the questions I've prepared. We've kind of looked at the hex chart. I know we've also kind of talked about in other streams the opportunity in maybe looking at the perpetuals. Maxi is looking real strong. Dipcatcher is always making new innovative things, and I want to say he made like an announcement that if you're holding Maxi when he drops his next project, then you'll be in for like another airdrop or something. So I'm bullish on this whole ecosystem, this whole space, what's going on over there in Hedron, and Icosa, all the different perpetuals. You got to be in it to win it. And I want to be in it. I want to be in all of them.
I mean, yeah, over 200 projects that are being built on top of Pulse Chain right now that it's not even out. Like this blockchain, y'all, it's not even out. And there is 200 over. I'm sure it's adding every day. I cannot keep track. Over 200 projects that are built on top of it. I mean, it's just so fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't see any other, any other developers or any other projects being built on the new or the current chains that we already have, like Solana or any other ones that I should not mention. Oh, I keep forgetting. I will learn one day to not mention the scams, but I cannot wait. I think Pulse Chain is truly going to, and Richard Hart, most importantly, going to break the crypto ecosystem.
Yeah. So here's my final question for you guys before we wrap it up and give our final shields or whatnot. Pulse Chain or PulseX? You can only have one, right? Which one do you think is making life-changing gains before the other? Pulse Chain or PulseX? SJ.
Pulse Chain.
I'm gonna go Pulse Chain too.
Yeah,
JORI?
same.
Yeah, me too. not a logical reasoning whatsoever, but I'm just gonna have to go with Pulse X only because that's what I would like to survive and thrive and go to the moon. Not that I don't want Pulse Chain, of course I do. I mean, just the whole ecosystem. But if I only had to have one, I would have Pulse X.
Yeah. What about you, Hexicans girl?
Yeah, Pulse Chain.
Oh, so that's 3 Pulse Chain, 1 Pulse X. I'm gonna go with Hex. No, I'm just kidding. My Hex on Pulse Chain. No, it's hard. To me, you almost have to put a time frame on it, because if I'm looking at the first 2 years, then I feel like I'm going with Pulse Chain. But if I'm looking at 5, 6 years, then I feel like I'm looking at Pulse X, just because I think it's going to take some time for that deflationary mechanism to really, start to make a difference in the price. So that's just my little thing. But yeah, man, it's going to be great no matter what, have exposure to both for sure. So before we sign out here, let's just go around the room and share whatever you'd like to share, maybe something you have going on or where people can find you on social media. I'll start with Hexican Girl.
I'm Hexican Girl on Twitter, TikTok. What else is it? Instagram. Yeah, that's it. We do have, I'm going to say in the UK, we have the Hex Lambo starting, the season's starting again in April, runs to October. So that's coming up.
Yeah. Do you guys publish, like, is there a place where people can go to get information if they want to come and hang out with the team? Because I know I've seen some meetups, like buy the cars and stuff.
Yeah, so at the races, we get to go to the paddock and hang out with the team while the race is going on and meet everyone. Got to sit in the car as well. So it's pretty fun. So yeah, hexracing2023.com, I think it's, yeah.
Nice. Perfect. All right, CZ.
Oh, first of all, I wanted to say, Hexican Girl, it's good to see your face on here. Yeah, very nice to meet you over the, I guess what we call the stream. Anyway, just you can find me at DeFiSexyLadies.com, and it takes you to all my socials. I am going to start up DeFi Sexy Ladies again coming up this month, and it's going to be fun. More to come. We're revamping the show. It's going to be interesting. So yeah.
Same thing with me. You can find me at
Hex Cruise. Get your t-shirts. Okay, here's what it looks like. Super cute.
Oh, you are wearing your. Hold on, I gotta fix that. I gotta do that. We gotta show that. Let me see. I'm really not good at this. Let me see if I can get it together. Okay. Okay.
I'm excited for the cruise, ladies. I really cannot wait.
Yes.
Yes, super cute. Love it.
Love that.
And I like how it fits.
Well,
so you did good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do I get one when I see y'all? I will also be at the cruise. I hope to see all of the Hexicans, and I'm so excited. What I'm doing right now is basically just spreading the word for Pulse Chain, Hex, just the Richard Hart ecosystem. It's very, very important before, especially the launch, to get that copied over. So you can find me anywhere on JORI Hex. I'm on all social media with that name. So it's easy. You can find me literally everywhere.
Perfect. SJ.
Awesome. Yes, similarly, you can find me everywhere at AWildSJ. I'm going to shill myself right now because so I switched from acting to voice acting because of SciVibe. I've been doing a lot of like audiobooks and things like that. That work is very kind of slow and few and far between. So if anyone in the Richard Hart ecosystem is looking for some kind of an assistant, or you need a voiceover done, or you need editing or copy editing or writing done, just I have a resume I'd like to send you. I'd like to be DCing a little bit more right now. So yeah, hire me.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, reach out seriously. If anyone's got any projects or anything, you need an extra hand to do something. I'd much rather spend my time and energy in this community than anywhere else. So I want to try and make that happen. If it doesn't, obviously, I actually applied for a couple jobs Lex Friedman posted. So that's another option. But I'd much rather work for someone within the community. So
Yeah, just as long as post that everywhere, SJ. I'm sure somebody is looking for a hand, and I think it's a great asset to have in our community.
Yes. So I have a little tea to spill. A Hexican message, or we actually had a phone call last night, and I'm not going to say who it is because I don't know that he's comfortable with me doing that. But he is an amazing Hexican, and he's always been extremely supportive of my KSB team. And so he's like, yeah, I haven't been around a lot lately, but I see you guys and I know what you guys are doing. And I really, really, really want to support. So I think what I would like to do is help you get to your goal. Because if you guys don't know, I have a goal of getting 50 rooms booked on the cruise. And we are currently at 45. Our cocktail party will still happen. Our Hexi Awards will still happen. But the cruise is going to upgrade us to a premium party if I get to 50 rooms on the cruise, right? So not only would it have drinks, but it's a bartender and people, hostess coming around with trays, like just really, really nice. So what he said was, why don't you give away another room and I'll pay for it? And I'm like, this is the generosity. Like, this is the kind of stuff, you know, that happens in this Hexican community where people are just completely selfless and they just want to, you know, show people that you can be a part of something even if financially you can't afford it. So next week on my Twitter, I'm still trying to work out exactly how I'm going to give away another free room on this cruise. I'm going to make it much easier. It's not going to be a month-long thing. It's going to be like a 1 to 2 day thing on Twitter. And I'm trying to think of like a special word, and maybe you guys can help me come up with just some word that the only way the people know about it is if they watch this stream, right? And if they comment in my post with this word, then that's going to give them an extra, I'm going to do one of those wheels, but instead of having your name on the wheel once, you'll have this word, and then you'll have an extra shot at winning this giveaway. So what do you guys think?
I love it. I know the word already. So
what's the word? What's the word?
Oh, can I say it?
I don't know what the word is.
But can I say it on here? Or do I need to? Okay, mining.
Huh? Oh, yes. That's for sure the word. Yes. 100%.
You gotta get it in people's heads, right?
Yes, I am typing that in the chat right now. Mining. Mining is the word. So when you see that post on my Twitter giving away a free cruise, if in the comments you throw in that extra word mining, then you're going to have a special advantage in the drawing. So that was, good job, CZ. Very good job. So that's all I have for you guys today. This has been an amazing stream. Always fun with the ladies. Thank you guys all so much for joining me. Come back next week. I have another lineup of amazing Hexicans, amazing educators in the crypto space. Monday, you guys know I like typically stream alone, but Tuesday, we're going to do some awesome TA with Axis, getting back to the basics one-on-one. If you watch TA streams and you're like, what are they talking about? Like, I'm not getting this. Then you need to tune in Tuesday for my show because I'm going to ask him every new question possible when it comes to technical analysis. So thank you guys again for joining me, and goodbye to the people in the chat.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yes, yes. Keep saying bye while I find the outro. There it is.